Hey there, welcome to another video. My name is Tasha and I run a very small business called Crochet by Tasha, and this week we're market prepping. And then the end of the week we will have an actual market. So we're gonna do 2 days of market prepping. Today is Thursday, November 13th, and then we have Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, I will be at a 2-day market. So I thought I would just take you guys along with me while I do some last minute prepping. I also need to price all of the plushies that you see back here behind me. They're really stressing me out. So that's going to be first on my agenda, is to get all of these items priced and into Square, and then I can start tackling some of the things that I would like to bring with me. Yesterday, I was able to do a little bit of prepping, not much. We have some house projects going on that are really taking up a lot of my time. But I started to make my penguin keychains. They're not mine. It's not my pattern. This pattern is by Close Knit Crochet. It is her little swinging penguins, but I put them on keychains, and then the pattern has a bunch of different birds that you can make. For now, I'm just going to be making penguins in a bunch of different colors. So I've made these 2 blue penguins. They're both made with Knotty Pony yarn in a 4.5mm hook. So I will just lay these aside, and then I'll hopefully make more throughout the day. The other thing I started to make last night was a turtle, and this is Fred the Sea Turtle. It's by CJ Designs, and I've made the head. This is Loops and Threads yarn. And then one thing I like about this pattern is that all of the little fins are the same size. Sometimes they have to be different sizes, and that's just like one more step that I have to think about. So I've made the 4 fins, and then this is one of my favorite ways to make a small turtle like this, is to use velvet yarn. So this is Fresnel velvet yarn in this beautiful colorway. It has like light pink, rose, and a little bit of gray. It's a gorgeous yarn, and it comes in a bunch of different colors. I'll show you some of the colors. I'll put it on the screen for you guys. This is one of my favorite velvet yarns. These make excellent penguins. They make great little turtles. I've made octopus out of them. I've made a bunch of different things, but this is like a blue-gray color. Let me go grab my other colors and I'll show them. So this is one of my favorite colors, is rainbow. So this is like a rainbow color. And I'll show you a plushie that I just made with this. If you didn't see my last video, I made a snowman with a hat. I made this snowman, and this was a pattern test, but you can see the hat and her little scarf are made with that really pretty rainbow velvet yarn. And what I love about it is it has a nice colorway change. It's like not an abrupt change, but it's kind of like a gentle change. This one is yellow and pink, and then you can see the difference between those two. And then I think I already showed you this one, but this is like a blue-gray color, mostly blue. And then there's also gray. This makes also really nice penguins. It's kind of like a black and white. This is one of my favorites, this purple color. And then I think there might be some solids, but I can't remember right now. But if you go on to Amazon, that's how I purchase all of my Fresnel yarn. And you can see the brand right there. It's Fresnel, F-R-A-N-E-L. And they call this snowball yarn. So it makes really, really pretty items. I've also made an all from Jade whale with this yarn, and that is like beautiful. So I will set that aside. So I need to finish my turtle, and I also have a lone chick that needs its egg. So I need to make an egg for this. This is my chick in an egg. I've made 4 so far, so this will give me 5. I wanted to take 6, so probably I'll make 1 more sometime today. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on all of these projects, and I also, after I finish these like halfway whips, then I'm gonna start pricing all the items behind me. It's been quite a few hours, and I just wanna let you guys know that I have uploaded my 3 new safety eyes to Etsy. The pictures are not dynamic, but at least they're out there. So I will continue to work on the photos. I'll talk to you later about my photo box that I bought, that I actually used to take my pictures. I'm not 100% sure how to use it, but I did try to use it to take pictures. So you'll have to tell me what you think. But it's been, of course, I was distracted. I was like pulled in other directions in the house, but I did manage to finish my Fred the Turtle. So you can see how pretty this velvet yarn looks with this turtle, super cute. And then I unfortunately did not finish my 2 Grinches, but I did begin. So I made this much. I just have to make their 2 heads, and then these will be finished. I also was able to work on my little chicks. So I'll show you all of the ones that I'll be taking on Saturday. I have a cream egg with a brown chick. I have 2 spotted eggs with 2 golden mustard chicks. And then I have the green speckled with the cream chick. I think this one, no, this one's my favorite. This is the brown egg with the cream chick. I love how he's just barely peeking over. Like, how cute is this? So that's a pretty good amount. I have not taken chicks and eggs to my last couple markets, so I'm excited to have these. So that's 3, 4, and 5. So I think my goal for tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, I can crochet all day. Tonight I have to go to a concert. My sister bought me a ticket to a concert. I'm not big into concerts. I think they're too loud and super crowded, and I don't know most of the music. So I'm gonna go to spend time with her and my mom. But tomorrow will need to be like crochet all day, and I also never priced any of this stuff. So it's dark outside now. But that's gonna be on the agenda for tomorrow, and we'll just see. Every day, I feel like my time keeps getting hijacked by all kinds of different things, as you probably have experienced yourself. So I will wake up really early tomorrow and try to like really hit the ground running, and hopefully I can get some done. But check out my Etsy listing. Let me know what you think about my photos. I'm just curious to see what your opinion is. But I'm gonna go get ready for the concert. I will see you guys tomorrow. Here's my mess on the carpet. I am getting ready to price all of these items that you see thrown all over the place. I filled out all my little tags. I do this like very simply. I just put a SKU number, an item, the size of the item, and the price, just to keep it super simple. And then I have this stretch cord that I got on Amazon, and that helps me to attach to my plushies. So I have all the tags written out. I have updated square, so everything, all my counts are correct. And I'm just going to add all the tags, and then I'll go over with you everything that I added. All my new items are priced, so I thought I would go over with you how many items of each that I have and what I'm charging, because I know that was one of my big questions when I was first starting off, you know, creating items and going to markets, is like, how do I price them? So it always helped me to hear other vendors and crocheters talk about their pricing. I have increased my prices over time, trying to like look at what other people in my area are charging and in my region, and also like really thinking about how long something takes me, what kind of materials I'm using, if it has embroidered eyes or specialty eyes. I take everything into account when I try to create those prices. So I also kind of come up with categories, like I have small, medium, large, but I also look at the plushie itself. So let's go over, I'll just kind of grab them in no particular order. So I have my 2 large frogs. These were part of a pattern test, and these are going for $30. I have 1 little bitty mini Grinch. I am in the process of making 2 more, so I will have a total of 3, and these are going for $18. I have 1 little fox. This is also part of a pattern test. It's Looping Teddy's. Her new little fox just came out, and this is going for $30. I have 6 little squish birds. I have 2 mallards, 2 penguins, and 2 little chicks, and those are all selling for $7. I have 1 little mini snuggler, and it is a dragon, and this is selling for $30. I have 1 Mitzi Mouse, and she is selling for $45. She's got the great big eyes in burnished copper, which are eyes that I sell in my Etsy shop. I have 5 chicks with eggs. I have this green tweed with a cream chick, sand yarn with a cream chick, 2 speckled eggs with mustard chicks, and a cream egg with a brown chick. And these are all selling for $15. I have 1 small velvet turtle, and this is $18. I have 2 small kittens, and these are $15. Even though this is bigger, I'm still selling it for this same price because I used a bigger hook, and I don't 100% like the way this one turned out, so I'm just going to sell it for a smaller price. But 1 in chocolate and 2 toned blue. I made 4 penguin keychains, 2 in this really pretty blue-gray color and 2 in brighter blue, and these are each selling for $6. The next 4 makes are from the Little Beasties pattern pack. I have 1 lion, 1 capybara, 1 elephant, hedgehog, and these are all selling for $20. I have 10 chickens, 1 in speckled cream, 2 in cream and black speckle, 2 in a pink speckle, 1 in a tweed yarn, 2 in cream, and 2 in blue tweed, and these are each selling for $12. I have 1 large snow mom with a snow baby, and she is selling for $50. And she was part of a pattern test that I recently did that was from Elisa's Handmade. But she is so cute. I can't wait to take her to the market tomorrow. I was also part of the pattern test for Hugurumi Toys holiday ornaments, and I have 1 gingerbread character. I think she's a woman, but gingerbread woman. 1 elf, 1 nutcracker, 1 snow beast, and 1 penguin. And these are each selling for $18. The last thing that I have that I actually haven't priced yet are these 2 little axolotls. I haven't priced them yet because I'm not sure what I want to price them, but I just found them sitting over there, so I think I'm going to add tags to these. I'll probably sell them for like $12. So that is all of my inventory that I've made in the last couple of weeks. So if I look at my list, baby chicks and an egg, I have 5. I had 5 chickens left over from my last market, so that means I'll be bringing 15 chickens. I added 4 keychains, so now I will be bringing a total of 41 keychains. I actually didn't need to make any, but so that was a lot. My small birds, I added 6. I didn't have any. The Bitty Grinch, 3 total, large frogs, snowman, Beasties, Fox, Mitzi, loaf cats. I had 3 loaf cats, and now 3 small loaf cats, and I added 2, so now I have 5. So over the last 2 weeks, I have added $718 worth of inventory. That does not count the 2 axolotls that I just showed you. So the next thing I'm going to do is take all of these plushies, put them in a bag so that I can go put them in my trailer. And then for the rest of the night, I will be working on snugglers, because I was looking, while I was adding all of these things to Square, I was noticing that's something I sold quite a bit of at my last market, and I really don't have very many small ones. I just have that dragon one, and I think I have an owl and maybe a squirrel. So I think that is what I'm going to spend the rest of my time on tonight. I want to make a bunny and maybe a cow. So if I did have extra time, I would probably make pickles, because I think I only have 2 pickles left in my pickle jar, and I sold 3 at my last market. Hey there, today is actually day 2 of the market, but I thought I would do before I leave. For day 2, I have to be there. I have to leave here in like 15 minutes. I thought I would do a quick overview of how day 1 went, just to kind of break up the days a little bit. Overall, I thought the market went pretty well. It was about as busy as the market that I had in Augusta, although in Augusta, I actually sold $300 more than what I sold here, but like the amount of people that were there, it was about as busy. So I thought I would go through my sales with you. Overall, my sales were $612. Most people paid with a card, $492, and then cash was $124. My fees were $14.81. Those are square fees. And my average sale was $19.57. So people were not purchasing like my larger items, which I think a lot of people say that. I did sell a couple of items that were $30, and I'll go over those with you. So my best seller were keychains. I sold 7 keychains. Can't even tell you which ones I sold. They were like miscellaneous. And then my next best seller were chicks and an egg. I brought 5, which I showed you. I sold all 5, and I had people who wanted more. So I ended up making 3 more chicks and an egg last night. I made this one, and I made this one. Somebody asked me to make a pink one, and so I actually took the chick out of the egg, and then I made them a pink chick, an egg for the other chick that was there. So I thought, okay, that might be a popular thing. So I made another pink one. And then I also made, I love this one, I made a blue chick. So that gives me a total of 4 chicks. I might make 1 more when I get there. I'm bringing all my supplies with me so that I can crochet. I know my last market on Sunday, it was like totally dead all day, and I just crocheted all day. So I want to make sure that I have lots of yarn with me, which I have. Okay, another item that I sold were cheeky turtles. I have not been selling cheeky turtles, so I was happy to sell 2. I did have the complaint that the little arm things were not staying on the little bobble stitches, so I think when I make these again, I might make those as puff stitches so that the little arm stays on. I'm sorry if I sound tired. I am tired. Okay, I had 1 Della plushie, which I sold. It had a blue headband. I sold 1 of my 3 bitty Grinches. That surprised me. I thought those would be like top sellers. People were actually asking me what they were, which I thought, how do you not know who Grinch is? Okay, I put out my heart ladybugs. This was part of my free minis pattern video that I made, and I immediately sold 1 of those. 1 of my penguin ornaments from my Hugurumi Toys pattern test, the penguin sold. one $22 turtle. I have an orange seahorse that I've had since like the beginning of time. I actually sold it. I can't believe it. She didn't want it because it had plastic eyes. I popped the eyes out. They actually popped out scarily easy. And then I embroidered eyes for her and she loved it. I had one positive pickle and I sold it. One of my roast turkeys, my own pattern that I never put out, I actually sold the small one and people loved the roast turkeys, by the way. Only one person bought one, but they got lots of attention. I had two small snowmen out. I've had those for a long time, like for a year. I sold one swinging character. I had my capybara beastie, the new little pattern pack that I just bought with like 28 or something beasties in it. I sold the capybara with a little orange on its head. I had one like doll size mallard. It was like this big. I sold it. 3 medium octos. Those were $10 each. I raised my price on those. Those were like $5 and I raised them to 10. I sold 3. I was happy with that. I had my little stress ball squish birds. I sold 1 mallard, 1 loaf cat. I only had 3 large loaf cats. I sold 1 and 2 baby squid. So overall, it was kind of like a little mixture of everything. We'll see how today goes. I'm like literally right next to another person. Like I have one girl here and another girl here, and then I have another girl right here. So we're in a hallway and it's just not conducive to filming. So I'm not gonna do that. So I will just tell you guys how it went. I showed you like my before and after, how my table looked. I'll do that again today, but you probably won't see me talking to the camera because that is just weird. But yeah, let's go. Day 2. I hope it goes well. And I have one lady coming today to get a pickle ornament. She asked me to make her a pickle ornament. And it's some kind of tradition where you hide the pickle in the tree and then whoever finds the tree gets a prize. So I found this pattern and this is, I don't even know what kind of yarn this is. I want to say it's something I got off Amazon, but she just wanted like a little velvety chenille looking pickle. So this is the one I made and I just gave it a little, a little hook with the yarn. So I'm going to go take that. She's going to come pick that up today and then I'll take my little chicks. And I hope it's a good day. There's no food at this place, so you have to pack food. So I'll be stopping by Starbucks on the way to get like a protein pack. But I will see you. I'll probably show you images of my table, and then I will talk to you at the end of the day, if not tomorrow. Ready to sit down with you guys and do a little bit of market recap. So I already went over my first day with you, which I really like this format because it doesn't give me like that much information that I need to relay at one point. And also sometimes the days are different, and these days definitely were different. So for my second day at the market, it was quite slow. It was like slow but steady. Like there were constantly people walking through, but not always people buying. So the way this market was, there was a large cafeteria. It was a high school, so it was a large cafeteria and there were lots of vendors in there. And then there was a small hallway leading off the cafeteria. And there were like 4 vendors out there. I was one of those vendors. So some people might say, well, when people walk in, we were right there. So it might have been considered a prime spot, but it wasn't like they had to walk by us to get to the cafeteria. They could go right in the cafeteria or they could leave us and go down the hall. So or they could leave the cafeteria and go down the hall. So I felt like I would rather be in the cafeteria. It had like high ceilings and windows and light and music, and we were like in a dark hallway with like lights that kept going off. So it wouldn't be my first choice of a spot. I guess right now I'm like a new vendor everywhere I go, and so I'm always going to get a spot that's not the best spot, and so I have to kind of like do my time, and then hopefully eventually I'll get into a better spot. But my sales for the second day were $441.08, which was pretty slow. My second day at the Augusta Armory Market, my sales were like $280. So in general, I made like the same amount of money at both markets, both days, but I just made a little more on the second day on this market. So my total sales for the 2 days was $1,058, which I don't think is the worst. There were people that weren't making any sales at all at this market. So I feel like it was worth it to be there. I think it just could have been better. But I'll go through like some of the things that I sold, and just like some things that maybe surprised me. I did not sell a single cookie of the chicken again. So I'm just so shocked that no one is purchasing this chicken. I don't know if it's the $25 price point, because I don't think $25, I had her at $30. I mean, she has a worsted weight apron on, so it seems like, you know, it took a lot more work. So I want to keep it at $25. It's about the same size as a loaf cat. I'm just going to keep it as it is for now, but definitely that is like the cutest thing on the table, and it's not selling. I sold one of my roosters. So the last Cozy Stitch bird that I had, I think they're called silly birds, but I had 2 roosters and 2 turkeys. I sold 2 turkeys and a rooster at my last market. I had 1 rooster left and I sold it. A lot of people were noticing that one. So that's definitely a pattern that I want to replenish before my December market. I sold my strawberry cow. I was super happy about that. I had like this little tiny kid come in, and it was a little boy, and his mom's like, "What do you want?" And he picked up the strawberry cow, and she's like, "I think that's for girls." And I said, "No, it's not really for girls. Like, it's a strawberry cow. It could be for anybody." I also sold that bunny lovey that you saw me making, that I made the night before my market, the one with the really pretty tail. I sold that to a super sweet young girl. When I say young girl, she was probably in her 20s. She was probably in my area for like a good 20 minutes looking around, and finally settled on the bunny, and she was so in love with it. So it made me so happy to see how much she loved that bunny. Okay, then I sold 2 small loaf cats. The multi-blue one that I told you I wasn't that happy with, I sold that to a little girl who loved it. I also sold a brown one. I had 2 little tiny axolotls that I showed you on my pricing day. Both of those sold. Plus, I also sold a green axolotl that I had that was like a Crochet by Jenna axolotl. The cow biddy that I showed you, I think it was called Coco the cow or something like that. I sold that. Only 1 chick with a hat, which was kind of surprising. I had this little goldfish that was a pattern test. If I can find the picture, I'll put it up there. It was like this little tiny goldfish, but I did it in like blue and peach. That sold to a man who purchased it for like his desk or something. And also my last little triceratops sold. I sold 4 keychains, random. I know all the penguin ones sold. And then I think I had a Yoda one sell, and the ladybugs both sold. That's all I can remember right now. I have a sitting bee that's purple. All my bees are like laying down bees, but this one is like a sitting up bee, and it had like birthday party eyes. I sold it. It was my last one like that. I had a bunch of them, and they just took forever to sell, so I never really replenished them. The little beasties that I made, the capybara the first day and the lion the second day, which it doesn't surprise me. The lion is so adorable. And then I still have the elephant and the hedgehog. I brought out my Tootsie Rolls at the last minute. That was also a pattern test. I sold 1 of the Tootsie Rolls, and I sold it to a lady, and she was going to give it to her husband, who was like a grandpa. And she was going to give it to him with a bunch of actual Tootsie Rolls in like a little gift basket for Christmas. And she was like so thrilled when she saw that. So yeah, that was my market day. I'm sorry that I didn't get a lot of footage. It was not conducive to that at all. The people on each side were only a couple of feet away from me, like our chairs almost touched. I was not going to be able to do any filming. But some of my best sellers for the weekend were keychains. And this is kind of interesting because I had my keychains down at the bottom of my grid wall and my swinging characters at the top, and I sold more swinging characters last time. And then I accidentally flipped those, and the keychains were at the top, and I sold more keychains than swinging characters. I don't know if there's some kind of theory in there. The next best seller were small chickens. They were just super popular. I sold 6. And then the chicken, the egg, I sold 5. The second day, I like stayed up forever making 4 new ones. Didn't sell a single one. So 5 in total. And then my little squish birds that I just made, I sold the 2 mallards and the 2 penguins, and no one bought the 2 little chicks. I remember Veronica with Looping Teddy saying that this time of year people don't really want to buy the chicks, and she is right about that. So the mallards and the penguins are definitely more popular than the chicks in November. I sold 3 cheeky turtles, which was awesome because I've had those forever and I really wanted to see them go. And then 3 octos. So those were my best sellers. I was happy that I had some larger items sell, and we'll see. I have my next market in December. I believe it's December 15th. So I have a few weeks to go. But exciting news, I will be doing vlogmas again this year. I'm already getting my video list ready to go, and I'm actually filming my first one today, so I will have them like stacked up ready to go each day. I'm super excited. I really enjoyed vlogmas last year. I thought it would be like, I thought it would be like a huge burden for me to do like a video each day. I loved it. I got into a nice rhythm. I felt like I was coming up with all these ideas. It was almost like more filming meant easier filming. So I just am excited to do it again, and I'm going to film my first one today, and I'm super excited. But thank you guys so much for coming along with me in my market vlog, and I hope that you maybe got some ideas for your next market. And let me know what your best sellers are at your markets. I would love to know if there are any of items that I talked about that you also are selling, or maybe there's another item I don't have that you are like, oh, Tasha, you got to have this item because this is going to sell really well. I would love to know, especially for December. Oh, one last surprise. The 3 little baby mini Grinches, I only sold 1. I think the reason why that is they didn't have embroidered eyes, because all the moms that came in wanted embroidered eyes. So I think I'm gonna have to make a couple with embroidered eyes. I will be going out of town next Saturday for Thanksgiving. I'll be going back to Florida for the whole week of Thanksgiving to be with my family. So I don't know what my videos are gonna look like. I'm gonna be working on Vlogmas all this week. I'll probably have at least one weekly crochet vlog that's going to be coming out while I'm gone. So thank you guys so much again. I'm so happy that you're here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you want to get alerts that I am putting out my Vlogmas videos. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.